Testing 1, 2, 3. Let me know if you can hear me. I assume you can. Let me just get set up here. All right. Welcome to Automate All the Things. We're going to, come back to my favorite tools. Airtable, Zapier, and Webflow. We're going to be building a no-code job board today. I'm going to try and do this a little simpler than I did in the past and try to segment it into like 2 parts that I can then kind of rejig and then put up as like full-on tutorials. So if you're in the chat, let me know. Murillo, am I saying that right? Hi, welcome. Let me know how you got here, what you expect to learn, what you expect to get out of this, and I'm going to try to put it in. Awesome. Actually, let me just take a quick second here, see if I can get the lag down. Just give me a sec, because I think there's a big delay between us two. Sorry. Like that. Just give me a sec here. I'm just gonna reduce the lag, the latency, so you can chat at the same time as I'm kind of displaying stuff. All right, that didn't work at all. So we're gonna have to live with the latency. That's fine. It's just it's not an actual latency. It's just the fact that if it's 30-second delay between me saying something and you hearing it. So we'll just have to live with that. All right. So here we go. All right, Murillo, I'll try to give you some Airtable tips and some Webflow tips. All right, welcome back. So we are going to build a no-code job board today within Airtable with Webflow, Airtable, and Zapier. So I'm just going to pull up this a little cheat sheet today. So the first thing we're going to do is just set up our Airtable to get the job board into that. And then, once we have all of our job and our applicants within Airtable, we're going to embed. The first step is just kind of embedding the view of Airtable into Webflow. So we're just going to put the jobs up into Airtable. We're going to create a view where you can see all of the available jobs. And then we're going to create a form where applicants could submit to a specific job. But most of the legwork is going to be done in Airtable, and we're just going to embed that into Webflow. Step 2, so that's going to be the easiest way, right? So it's going to be super, super simple, hopefully. And then step 2 is use Airtable, the same job applications we have in Airtable, but we're actually going to send them to Webflow into the CMS. And the reason we're going to do that is that it gives us a little more control as to what we want that job to look like. And it doesn't kind of, punt out that user to the Airtable experience. So first step is going to be creating the jobs in Airtable, applicant section as well, embedding that into Webflow. That's going to be step 1. And then step 2 is going to be going a little deeper, creating the CMS, putting all our jobs from Airtable automatically into Webflow, and then creating, kind of specific pages. So that's kind of enough as an introduction. So I'm going to jump into the setup, right? So the setup is going to start in Airtable. So let's go ahead and go into Airtable. should have it open somewhere. Here we go. So I did some work before this started. I always do work, but I did a little more this time. And I already have kind of a base semi setup. So a lot of the legwork has been done, but I'll walk you through it just to give you an idea. So, we have two tables in our base. First is jobs. So those are all of the available positions at our current company. And so it's kind of very simple. So what I've done is I've actually kind of used the Airtable jobs section as a, kind of roadmap, if you will. I'm gonna actually close this. So, when you have the title, let's actually go to the kind of larger one. So you have the title, where that job is, a little bit of description, what the qualifications are, and about the company. So if we go into my own job board, similarly, let me just go back here. We have the title, location, department. Department here is, they don't have a department. They actually changed the color based on department, but I wanted to add the department. Job description, this is just some Laura Ipsum qualifications. And then this, I should actually hide the applicants for now. So that's going to be our the jobs section. And then we have our applicant section, right? So kind of coming back here, if I come here and I go to apply, I go to the bottom, just kind of giving us an idea of what the expectations are for that applicant to apply to that specific job, right? First name, last name, email, phone, resume, and then a bunch of things around like, some that kind of include more longer text, right? So we're just copying that first name, last name, email, resume, LinkedIn profile, why you're perfect for this role, which is some long text. And then we have a linked record. So this is at the point where I wanted to show you the link record. So what we always want to do, since we're using one table for all of our applicants, is to know which job this applicant is applying for. So I created a linked record between applicants and jobs, right? So if I extend this, you see that Aron applied for the customer success role that's based in San Francisco, right? So that's kind of our setup for our applicants. And then we have jobs. So jobs, applicants, and those two are tied together by this linked record. So what I'm going to do here is unhide that field, applicants. So that's great. How is the description text formatted? Essentially, Webflow, this is a question coming from Murillo. So Webflow has a rich text field or input type. I'll show you how to manage that when we get there. It's a rich text field. You can kind of format it yourself. And we're going to be kind of moving from Airtable to Webflow. Cool. So let me just kind of go back to the roadmap here. We have a list of available jobs in Airtable. And then before we kind of jump into that, I should have a candidate application form, right? So what that is we want, when you think of how a job board is built, you have a job description, you have a way for that applicant to apply for that job, right? So we need a form that we can embed into our Airtable, into our Webflow website, where the user can input all this information and then it'll populate into our applicants table. So I called this, so you want a job at automate all the things, and it's our form. And all we need to do is kind of drag and drop the variables or the input fields, right? Required, that user has to upload a resume and CV. We're all going to make all of this required. There we go. LinkedIn profile, that's optional. And then a little bit of text, also required. And then we're also going to have a linked field, right? So this is going to actually be a little bit of a challenge because we want to make sure that the applicant is always applying to the role so that they think they're applying to. So what I mean by that is, if Aron wants to apply for the customer success role, when they get to the form, we want to make sure that they're able to select the right option. So we're going to work on that in a minute, but we're not going to force the user to select. It's going to be automated. But I just want to bring your attention to this, that this is actually going to be like a sticking point in a little bit. All right, let's go back here. So we have done the candidate application form. Form to submit jobs, I'm actually going to put time permitting. So this is the idea that, we want to create a form that an administrator can also add new jobs to our job board. So I'll leave that at the end because there's a little bit of work to do there, but it's just as easy as, you add a form view here and then input the form. Okay, so now we are ready, right? So we've set up our Airtable, we have jobs, we have applicants, we can go start working in Airtable. So let's go ahead and come into our Webflow. Sorry, I said Airtable, I meant Webflow. So this is our Webflow page. And I'm not going to do any design work. I really just want to show you the functionality, and you can kind of make this page yours however best you please. So we simply have a heading, says we heard you wanted a job, and then I have a tabbed menu. And the reason I have a tab is I want to show you how you can embed a gallery view and then a grid view. So super simple. What we're going to do is we're going to embed what we call a view in Airtable. A view is a way to see your data, and we're going to embed that into our Webflow website here through an HTML embed. Hey Adam, good to see you again. You're kind of coming through here a little late, but just catching you up where we've done the Airtable view. We created the views, and now we're going to embed them into Webflow. So what we want to show on this page is all of our available roles. So what we're going to do is in Airtable, come here. It's a little confusing because I have the Airtable website and an Airtable open. Here we go. So we're going to create a gallery view. A gallery view is just kind of a way to view your data that's a little more interesting than row. So it puts it vertically and you can kind of look into it. And just like every view on Airtable, you can embed it. So we're going to embed this little bit snippet of code into Webflow, and this is what it's going to look like. So we're going to have all of our available jobs. The user can filter, and the reason I have a department is I want to be able to say, hey, only show sales for that user, or sort. You can have dates, the most recent jobs. You can also potentially, what I thought was really cool, you can do in the future is actually show the number of people who applied. So you can apply to the least popular or the most popular job, however confident you are. So we're going to take this embed code and simply go into Webflow, boom, and then we have embed, which is somewhere. I never know where things are in Webflow. So we're just going to copy paste that, save and close. And if the magic of the web operates correctly, we have our job board. That's simple. So we have a job board where the user can, let me just publish this and then we'll kind of see in live, can look at all available jobs. Super simple. Give it a second to deploy. While that's happening, I'm going to go to the grid view and we're going to just do the same. Oh, you can't embed. I guess you could embed, but there we go. We're just going to do the same thing in the grid view. So to change views, you come here, active tab, tab 2. I should name those, but I won't. Trying to be more efficient, use your time more wisely. Whoa, what's going on? No. Yeah, I can move it. Okay, here we go. Save and close. And then this HTML embed, we're going to move it. Here we go. Whoops. That's not it at all. Okay, here we go. Okay, let's do this differently. I'm in grid 2. There we go. Type content, type paint 2, embed. Awesome, there we go. So this isn't as interesting because it's not as convenient for the user, but I wanted to show you anyway, so let's publish this. It's my waiting music, you know? It's kind of hard. All right, let's come here. I don't want to translate. I don't know why it asked me to translate, that's weird. Okay, so we have our job board, super simple. User can kind of click through here and be looking at the job. So that's kind of step one. Now we actually want the user to be able to apply, right? So right now, as I've built this, there is no way for that user to get to this form, right? From this kind of job board. Right, so we need to find a way to do two things. The first thing we need to do is actually link to the form. And then the second thing we need to do is make sure that when the user clicks on the form for the customer success role, right? So that form is for applicants, that in this field, the job field, we have pre-filled the role. So that user knows, the applicant knows that they're applying to the right job. So it's going to take a little bit of work, not too much. So the first thing, let's simply embed a link to this form, right? So we can share form. We have a link. Let's come here. So job application form. There's going to be a URL, a link. And no matter the role you're applying, theoretically, we should have this. So I'm going to go into gallery, and then I'm going to filter customize cards. I'm not going to show apply to this job, which is where we're going. So application form, there we go. So if I come here to all of the jobs, refresh this, I'm not sure why it's asking me to translate this page. Gallery, apply application form. Boom. So it brings me to the Airtable experience. Now the challenge is that like maybe there's like 8 customer success jobs, or there's, you know, I don't remember what I want to apply for. I don't know if you want to hire someone who doesn't remember what they clicked on like 10 seconds ago, but still we want to make it as easy as possible for that user to not have to fill in this field. So we're going to use a way to pre-fill fields on Airtable. It's just a URL parameter. So if I come here, and I'm going to try to do this live and go prefill underscore job, or just let's do name equal test. Oh, I have first name. Okay. Let's do email. That way it's one word. I don't need to worry about the email. And then it's just test. Cool. Do I have to prefill? Oh, it's sensitive here. There we go. Okay, so here I did prefill, right? That tells Airtable that we're going to prefill a field. Then we have email, and then you prefill with what you want, right? So what we need to do is tell them prefill the variable job with customer success manager. So how we're going to do that is we have that information, so the title of the role right here, right? So we have this right here. So we're going to create a formula that is job link to application form. I'm just trying to make sure I'm not using the same name. It's going to be a formula. And that formula is essentially going to be this. So I'm just going to save this. It's going to be nothing for now. I'm going to go copy paste this. Doesn't matter. That's fine. Save. Okay, I'm just going to copy paste this. So what we want this to be is that we want that URL, right? So that's the URL to our general form. That's going to be the case for every single one of the job applications. And then we want to add prefill underscore, the variable is job, and then we want equal, and then we want to add customer success manager. So that's job title, right? Save. Oh, there's missing an and here. There we go. Just refresh like that. It's just saying, okay, it's gonna save. Whew, that worked. Okay, now I'm gonna tell you right away, this is not gonna work. So if I click on this URL, it just says customer, right? So it doesn't link to the right job. You know, I knew this, just making sure you're still watching. So essentially we need to actually make sure that it has spaces, and spaces, how they work in URLs is that we need to add, you know, I think it's like %20 for instead of each space, so that the URL understands that it's space. How we're going to do that is there's a function. Oops, I need to come here. That's called URL encode URL component. Right? I feel really smart knowing this. And what this does is it just looks for weird characters and then replaces them with the URL text equivalent, if you will, right? So the formula is you have your application form, right? So that's the same one for everyone. Question mark, prefill, underscore, the variable, which in our case is job. And then you add encode URL component and the job title itself, right? So that's what it's going to do, is just replace percentages with the space. So let's go ahead and see what that looks like, right? So we have %20 instead of the space. And then again, if we come here, the role is selected. Boom. Okay. So, you know, let's get to the finish here. I go back into my gallery view. I'm going to customize the card. I want to show the link to application form, right? So last thing here, just going to refresh this. Go to gallery, come here. So we have our job title, our department, job description, and then link to application form. User clicks on this and they fill out. Let's go ahead and just test this out. My name is Aron, Kornblatt, email. There we go, doesn't matter. I'm just the best candidate ever. Okay. So what's great is there's also like a bunch of integrations, right? So if you want to integrate, get a file from your Google Drive, it's really great. I'm gonna put my CV, upload that. Job, it pre-filled, I selected Customer Success Manager, submit. We come here, applicants. This is where my heart starts beating. Boom, Customer Success Manager. That's what we just filled out. You talked about the count, Murillo. So if we want to show count, all we do is we create a count field and we link it to applicants, save. That's going to tell us the number of applicants. And then we can just go to gallery and then, you know, have field 10. I'm just going to name that properly. Number of applicants. And then last but not least, you can also have date of post or you know, first, I guess, job first posted, date of job post. I think that makes sense. And then that's just date created, created time. We don't want a time field, there we go. And you could show this as well on the gallery like that. Boom, whoop. Customize card, date of job post, there. And then if I come here, So now it's defaulting to grid because that's how I deployed it. I'm going to change that in a second. So boom, boom, boom. Links application form, number of applicants are 2 because I've tested this twice. And then date of job post is there. So that is part 1. We're done. Part 1. So this took me about 26 minutes. So I'm gonna mark that right here, 26 minutes. That way I'm gonna kind of cut this up later. Cool, so that was part 1. Yeah, let's get on to part 2. So just one thing I do wanna kind of change here. So if I come here and I deploy this like that, and it's just want to default to gallery view and not grid view. There we go. Okay, so we're good to go. Still here. Haven't lost you guys. I went faster. I'm trying to go faster so I can kind of condense it. Okay, so this is kind of like the MVP of a job board, essentially. What's not great about it is not obvious that the user can kind of link here. And then when you do click here, it punches you out to airtable.com, right? So that's not great. So what we're gonna do is kind of make it a little better. And what we want to do is control the whole experience. And what I mean by that is have most of everything happen directly in Webflow. So 2 things we're going to do there. The first is we are going to first show all the jobs directly in Webflow. So instead of just using this Airtable experience, we're going to take this information, put it into Webflow, and then, kind of add it here. So we're going to have each job posting is going to be in this kind of format. And then we're going to create a page that I already kind of started that looks like this for each role. And then we're going to add the form that the user has to fill out directly in this. So the user doesn't actually leave our experience ever. I'm taking inspiration from the Airtable. So these are all, let me just leave this. From the Airtable job board itself. So exact same format, title, quick description, apply. That brings you to that job's application form. And there's a little bit more information there. I haven't applied Murillo. I saw that come through. So we're talking about the rich embed, the rich text format in. I imagine that's going to be directly in the rich text field. We might actually hit some snags a little later with Webflow and Airtable around that. So I'm curious to see how that goes. I should just apply for the beta. I will. Thanks for the tip. Cool. So let's get started into actually, owning the full experience with our job board. So job boards, that was part 1. We are now at part 2. So the first thing we need to do is actually kind of create our CMS. So what that means is create Webflow CMS. So we need a way to Webflow to recognize our data in. Essentially what we're going to do is replicate most of this kind of Airtable directly in Webflow. So let's come here and I'm just going to go into settings, and it's quite similar, right? So we have the name, that's a title. I should actually refer, oops, this is title. That's slug, that's going to be automatically created. Location, just reminder, same thing here. Location, department, one-to-one match, job description, qualifications, embed form URL. That's going to be this right here, link to application form. Number of applicants, I guess we could pass it through. That would require quite a bit of work on Zapier. Not quite a bit, it's just one zap. but I won't be doing it. And then date of job post, that's also automatically created in Webflow. When you create a new CMS item, it's going to give you a creation date. So let's save this, and I want to maybe just do one manually. So we're going to copy like customer success manager, and then location is going to be San Francisco. Department, it's going to be customer success. Job description, let's just copy paste this. We're going to automate this later. Qualifications, there we go. And then embed form URL, same thing, link to application form. Great. So we're going to create that. Okay. And could we duplicate this? Is that allowed? No, they don't have a duplication. Okay. So I'll create a second one. Apologies. I wanted to do this live. Let's create the second one. Account executive in New York. Account executive New York. That's going to be in sales. Copy paste this. And then copy paste that. Embed form URL. Like that. Oops. There we go. Let's create. Done. Okay, so now we have two roles. And what we want to do is show those two roles here, exactly like Airtable does right here. So 1 and then 2, and then have a button that says apply that links to a CMS page where that user can apply for that role. So this is going to be quite easy. We're just going to create a collection list. Let's just put it here. I'm going to put it into the section here. Let's do it like that. All right, and then let's move this over. Okay, so this allows us to list all of the items in a specific collection. So we're going to connect our jobs CMS, right? Collection. Damn, this is collection, items, connection. This is really mixing me up. So, and then all we have to do is kind of take this whole job post, put it into here, and then it's just duplicating it because it's two of them. And then we just say, hey, this heading on top, get text from jobs. That's gonna be the title, account executive, customer success manager. This is gonna be the location, boom. This is going to be the, I think we have a, oh, this is a paragraph, department, embed from location. That's weird. Why don't I have, that's weird, let me check something. I think I put a rich text field, there's always one thing I gotta debug during these things. So let's go into settings. Okay, so these are rich text fields and those are paragraphs. Let's put them as rich text fields. So I'm gonna come back here. All jobs. And then here, instead, we're gonna do a rich text field like that. And then we're gonna remove this paragraph. And then rich text field is gonna get its information from job description. Boom, done. And then here, this is gonna be a link, and it's gonna be a link to the CMS page of that job where the user can see more information and then fill out their application. Okay, so I think we're done. Like that is essentially what we wanted to do. I think I'm missing, okay, I just need to put all of this into job post to make it, there we go. Okay, so we have kind of similar to this right here. Title, location, a little bit of text, and apply. So we've gone ahead and recreated that. So that's pretty cool, right? Step one. And then step two, so again, I'm not doing design That's not my forte. You guys can figure that out. Okay, so now we've created all of our job, like a list of all of our jobs. So we're recreating this. If I copy pasted all of those jobs into our CMS, I would have the exact same information here as here in the list. So we're going to go ahead and now work on each jobs page. How we do that is by going into the jobs template. Now, I've already done some work here around just structuring this page. So what I've done is title, they're not linked yet, but I've gone ahead and made the page at least. Apply now, that was weird. Apply now, which when clicked will bring you to the form, which we'll do here. Some text, this is text that's always going to be the same. I just took pretty much the same text that was here, right? And it's weird because Airtable, links to Greenhouse. Us, we're actually using Airtable. I would expect Airtable to use Airtable, but that's just me. Maybe they've got hundreds of applications. So we're gonna go ahead and recreate this top page. And then here we're gonna use the same form that we already created to embed. And that's gonna be our page. So Murillo asks, do we have to do this manually, or we're gonna create an automated way so that each new job posting is sent into the CMS? This is one of those moments where you ask me what I'm about to do in 2 minutes, so that's great. So I'm kind of a few steps ahead of you. So at the end, we're gonna integrate Zapier and Webflow, right? So we've created the Webflow CMS, upcoming pages, and we're now working on the specific job page. And that is that step right here. That's what we're gonna be doing in 5-7 minutes. Cool. So specific job page. Let's just, as we did before, we're gonna link all of this: title, customer success manager, location, boom. I'm gonna do this in a second, the apply now button. This is just standard text. Is it? Oh no, so this has to be, okay, so this is another situation. Oh, we have a rich checkbox, there we go. Okay, so we're gonna go get text from jobs, same as we did before, job description, right? And we're gonna add another rich text block. There we go, which is qualifications. And then I'm just gonna maybe add a title here. Heading, let's do, your qualifications, because there's no heading. Awesome. Oh, let's put it heading 4. There we go. Okay, so this is just some lorem ipsum, but you would have some, description about your company, the qualifications, this static description about what you offer candidates and about your company. Pretty simple stuff. So again, we're just trying to recreate this. I'm going to spare you all of the text. And if you wanted to view all jobs, you just create a URL back to the old page, right? The page with all of the jobs. That's relatively simple. Apply now we'll do in a minute. Now we get to this, right? So what we want to do is embed the form directly on the page so the user can kind of fill out their application directly on the page, and then it's going to be sent to Airtable. So let's go ahead and do that. That's what we're here to do. So we're going to create an embed. Embed. Where are you? Embed. There we go. Okay. Oops, I need to go get. So thinking back to what we did before, we're just going to embed same thing we did before. Then we want to applicants. Now we got to go to the form view. Now remember, there's a difference between embedding the form view and what we did before, which is just pre-linking to the form on Airtable, but the logic will be extremely similar. So remember, what we embedded before was the gallery view. In each record, we had a link to the form view of Airtable. Now we're embedding the form itself into our page for each job. So share form, we're going to embed this form on our site. Similarly, we're going to copy paste this. Come here. We're going to do that. Save and close. So this is our form. Let me just publish this. There we go. I'll take this moment to what's going to happen here is that we're not going to have a link. That job pre-selection is not going to be there, right? So that's unfortunate. So let's just see what this looks like. So we have our customer success manager, some information, and then we have the job board. If you want this to be a little, you can make this much larger, much higher, so you don't have this little scroll. So first name, last name, all that good information, but then we have job, right? And again, we want to avoid having the user to select this role. So what we need to do is kind of find a way to pre-fill this information in the embed, right? So how do we do that? Similarly as we did before, right? We had this variable. So let's just take a minute to think about this. So let's look at the embed code. Jobs, no, here, it's, here we go. So we have this kind of URL. And when you look at it, it says Airtable /embed/ random stuff. But if we look at that random stuff, it's the same thing we have here. So it's the only difference between this and the embed URL for the form. This is a link to the form, reminder. And embedding is that there's /embed between airtable.com, right? So that's just an iframe functionality. So what we're hoping to do is use this exact link, right? But instead of this link, we're just going to add a little embed, right? And this is information we're going to have to send to the CMS in Webflow. So we're going to create a new field that is embed URL. And it's the same kind of thought process we had before, right? So I'm actually, I'm going to cancel this. I'm just going to copy paste this right here. Right, and then go to job board. Formula, I think as I do this, it'll make a little more sense, right? So we want the embed URL, just as we did before. And then we want question mark prefill equal. So prefill job, right? That's a variable we want to prefill. And just as we done, we need encode URL component, and it's going to be job title. Right, save that. Oh, what was the problem? There's missing an and here. That's stressful. Okay, so this is going to be embed URL. And this is what we're going to kind of pass in the embed code so that we're always pre-filling the right role. So let's just add a new variable here. Jobs. Settings. Oh, we already have an embed form URL. Okay, great. I had already thought of this. Preparation. Gotta expect the unexpected. So let me just go into Customer Success Manager. That's what I posted. Here we go. Embed form URL. It's a little worrying that it's not the same as what I had before. Okay, no, it's fine. Oh, that's we're in the account executive. So I'm gonna cancel that. Just go change this, come here. There we go. And we're gonna save this and then go to that page. And now that we have the embed form URL here, So maybe I'll kind of explain it this way. So we have the embed form URL, and what I want to do is here do prefill underscore, let's just test it. And this is for Customer Success Manager. So let me go ahead, and if I remember, I have it right here. Just gonna take the N here and see if that works properly, right? So just gonna copy paste that. So what we've done is we've taken the embed URL, we've done the same thing we did before, prefill one of the fields, save and close. Let's, do we need to publish? Yeah, I think we need to publish just to scroll down to there. Okay, refresh. So we should prefill Customer Success Manager, right? So that's what we wanted to do. I don't know if in the chat, like, did that make sense or did I lose you guys? So essentially we did what we did before, but in the embed functionality, it's just a different URL. So yeah, so we go there, and then so now that we know that it works, let's actually create a variable here. Oops. So what that means is instead of just testing it with a specific URL, we always wanted to take it from the CMS, damn it. Oh, there's no good way of doing this. Just gotta scroll. Okay, so let's just carefully select this. Oh no. Okay, remove that, and then that's gonna come from embed form URL. Let's save and close. Let's publish that, see if it works correctly. And it should work for both Customer Success Manager and Account Executive if all goes well. Okay, let's refresh that, reload. Customer Success Manager, and then if we go into Account Executive, fingers crossed. Oh, that did not work. Oh, because I don't have an embed URL there. That's why. That is why. Whew, it's stressful. Let's go here. Embed Account Executive. It's this right here. Yeah, save. Then we go publish. Just make sure it works. Okay, Account Executive. Okay, good. So we have a specific job page. The only thing left to do is just this apply now. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a just a form ID, right? And then this link is gonna go to form. Simple as that. That's just in-page linking. If you want to skip the information about the role, refresh that, I'm gonna reload. And then if all goes well, whoop, there we go. And then I come to the form and we're done for our specific pages. We have one thing left to do, which is integrate Zapier and Webflow. What I should actually say is send new job postings from Airtable to Webflow with Zapier. That's actually what we're doing here. So essentially Zapier, I say this every week, I feel like, but is glue for all of your applications. So we have data in Airtable that we want to send to Webflow. So essentially that's what we're going to do. We're going to, Zapier will do that for us. The trigger, Zapier, how it works, I should just go into Zapier and there we go. You have a trigger, something that happens in one of your applications, and then an action. So that means that, you know, something that happens in another application. So the trigger in our case is going to be new job posting or new record in Airtable. And then our action is going to be fill information in Webflow, in this case, a CMS. So create a new CMS item with the job that was just created in Airtable. So we're always going to be working, you know, if I'm an administrator, I'm going to be creating my jobs in Airtable, and then Zapier is going to, you know, handle sending it to Webflow. So let's go ahead and do that. So our trigger is Airtable. Boom. Choose trigger event, new record. Continue. So they just redid this interface. It's quite good. This used to be on the left here. Personal Airtable, that is mine. Base is going to be, I think it's jobs, job board. So I'm just kind of going through the motions here. Table, jobs. So every time we create a new record in the jobs board, test and review is going to go get some data. Let's see which one. Let's actually use one that we haven't sent through, which is sales manager. So let's try to find sales manager. HR manager. Oh wait, we haven't sent HR manager either. So let's just use that one. So it's pulled the information from HR manager. So this information here, so all of this information is now in Zapier. So we're going to use that one. And then what do we want to do? We want to create live item. I want to create a live item because that way I don't need to publish the website. But what I am going to do before, this was last week's problem, is I'm going to publish to production. That way production knows about this CMS collection. Okay, Webflow, create live item, boom. Webflow account is AATT, automate all the things. Continue. Website. I only have one website. Yep, that one. Collection, jobs. Okay, so what it does is it goes and talks to Webflow and says, hey, what's in jobs? What information do you need? Location. Now, we already have information from Airtable. We're just going to send it through, right? So location, that's in step 1. That's getting the record. And location is called location. So San Francisco. Department is HR. Job description is job description. Job description. There we go. Now I'm a little worried about this formatting. We're going to see if that works. It might not. In the case where it doesn't work, it's not that much work to have a kind of like sub CMS, I guess, where you have all the descriptions. So you don't have that many different roles. So you can just put them once into Webflow. So we'll see. I haven't tested with, I'm kind of fearful that it is going to be poorly formatted though. Embed form URL, that is the embed URL. There we go. Title is title. Job title, there we go. Slug is going to be created. Archived is no. Draft is no. Continue. Okay, so let's test and review. A test item was sent to Webflow. So that means if we go into Webflow right here, we now have a third item, which is HR manager. Oh, and the formatting made it. Yes, go the web. That's awesome. That's really, really cool. So yeah, and that sends it to, it does what we expect it to do. So it took data from Airtable and sent it to Webflow. So, if we go to this, the CMS jobs template, and then we select HR manager, and then we go to production, we have the formatting didn't make it. Oh, that's weird. That sucks. That's too bad. I'll check into why, because it does work properly into Webflow. But the rest works, right? HR manager as expected. I'll link it to why this doesn't work. It's kind of weird. So it creates our page. That's what we expect. So I'm just going to do one last thing. I'm actually going to test it in production, if you will. So we're going to make this live. Done editing. Turn Zap on. Do I got to give it a name? I guess I got to give it a name. Okay, that's fine. So let's just, I remember at the beginning you asked to create a form. So let's go ahead and do that. And this we can remove. We don't need that anymore. this is automatically created as well. Department, yeah, that should all work. Okay, so let's open the form, let's fill it out. So this is a form for a new job that an HR administrator would do. So let's create a new customer success manager role. Instead of San Francisco, this one's going to be in New York. The department is customer success. This is the second customer success job. You need a lot of qualifications. Okay, so if we submit that, whoop, my mouse is kind of going crazy. Sorry. There we go. Okay, so we should see it here. We're gonna see it in many places. There we go. So we see our customer success job, right? We should see it in the embed. Just kind of going through the motions here. If I go to here, we should see it right here, which we do. And then I think I need to manually go run the Zap. This one's in, yeah. Run, because it runs every 15 minutes. So I'm just triggering it so it runs right away. And then we go into Webflow. I should have a fourth job. Whoops, it's not yet arrived. Create live item was successful. Okay, that's weird. Let me refresh this. I might have no unique name. Nope, we're good. There we go. So it created this. Oh, Webflow thinks about it. Nice. It gave me a little 9 here. So if we go here, and then we go to our jobs template, customer success manager, and this one should be in production. Boom. And so we have, as expected, what we need. So that was essentially what I wanted to show you today. So we did 2 things. Let me just kind of check some boxes here. Send new job posting. So we did 2 things. We did the MVP version. The MVP version was embedding gallery and grid view into Webflow from Airtable. And then we did the kind of a little more complicated where we created a CMS collection where we list out each role. And then we embedded a form in the CMS page, collection page, for that specific role via Airtable embed as well. So we're just hitting the hour here. So thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any feedback. I also write a weekly newsletter talking about automation. So subscribe to that. And I'll be back here next Wednesday. Yeah. So thanks so much. Have a good one. Have a great week. Let me know. Cheers. Bye.